Okay, so unfortunately, due to the holiday on Monday, we didn't have the lecture on Monday. We did this lecture, search engine optimization in WordPress without using a plugin. I did it yesterday in section 2, and I'm going to do it today here. And the assignment is to then search engine optimize your site. Tomorrow, I will be holding an open lab in section 2. You guys are welcome to join. Next week, I will talk about creating a flex slider using attachment images in WordPress. Notice that is not an official assignment. Why? I don't know. I've just never written it up. So that's you can do it if you want assignment. If you feel overwhelmed, forget about it. Assignment. Okay. Finals week. There is no presentation in here. Okay. But I am writing up the final exam right now. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look at that face. I have a problem. I know. I'm wrong here. So all of finals week will be open lab. Okay. So if we look at the finals week schedule, let's see, because then I also need to schedule the final party, the end of the quarter happy hour. So spring finals, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I will basically then be here in class for finals week as open lab. So if you guys need to get things done, right, and I can use that time to do my grading if nobody shows up, whatever. And all assignments are due, then that date is wrong. Let's make a change to that right now while I'm thinking about it. Huh? Yeah. It's been kind of a rough quarter. That whole ending up in the hospital thing, you know. Oh, come on, Google Chrome, don't crash on me. Seriously. Yours just crashed too? Hey, maybe it didn't crash. Let's see if my YouTube thing is still running. Hey, you guys still there? You still there? If somebody is watching this right now, send me a text saying you're still there. So final is Friday, June 16th. Friday, June 16th. Okay, so what? Tuesday, Thursday class is at 5 p.m. in 3156, the other room right over here. Okay, so you're welcome to come. I mean, put it this way. If Chris has been showing up for this section, you might as well show up for the other section, right? Did you know Chris is not actually in this section? Right? Neither are you, Trang, right? You don't know? I don't know who's in what section, and you know what? I kind of don't really care. I just like picking on you, Chris. It's all out of love. It's really to displace, again, and run faster. You, Chris, have so much talent that I'm going to continuously tell you to live up to your potential. It's tough love, Chris. So today then, search engine optimization. So here's the deal. Back before I was doing the WordPress thing, when I first created this website, I ranked on page 36 for a Google search of logo design Seattle. Now let's see where I am. Yelp, Thumbtack, Premium Design Works, right? So why is that relevant? Well, if somebody were, let's say you were opening a coffee shop, opening a restaurant, opening a chiropractic clinic, opening a massage therapy, right? And you needed a logo and you wanted to work with a logo designer in Seattle, what might you type into the Google machine? Yes. And if you did that, who is the best logo designer in Seattle, according to Google? Me. Okay. Okay. When's the last time I actually did a logo for money?
How long has it been?
I don't know. Whenever I did that IT services one that is not in my portfolio. And then the one before that was the integrated financial tech one, which I did probably 10 years ago, right? But why am I still #1 for logo design Seattle? In the other, when I asked that in the other section, the answer I got was search engine optimization. And the answer was?
Yes.
Right. So the answer is search engine optimization. So, in my opinion, you do not need to use these plugins, the SEO plugins. And here's why. The SEO plugins, what they're designed, does anybody know about the SEO plugins? Like the all-in-one, SEO one, and then Yoast. This one is the most popular one. Have you guys heard of these? Okay. So what these do, the biggest thing that these do is they provide a space for you to then put a search engine optimized written title and a meta description, okay? They help you look at keywords and that kind of stuff, and they show you your snippet, you know, that kind of stuff. But has anybody taken the writing for the web class yet? Okay, in the writing for the web class, I am gonna have you guys do a keyword study, right? So we're going to go about search engine optimization the good old organic way, right? Of what is search engine optimization? Well, we look at my services. Here's how search engine optimization basically works. Keyword selection, keyword placement. Jazz hands, right? In other words, remember from Web 105 that metadata assignment you guys did?
Yes.
Okay. That is basically the start of a keyword study, right? That was a general keyword study. So I've taken that out of my tabs. Let's see if I can find it. Metadata. Again, we've cut Web 105, so I've taken it out.
But it could have an effect.
Chris, shut up. Don't spoil the magic yet. We'll get there. Okay. Yes, Chris, you're right. To start with, though, when we did the company name, company description, right? So for the company description, that's where I had you guys write 20 to 30 words, right, which would be coded into the meta name description and will appear in search engine results. Okay. Page title, create a title tag, etc. So you need to then create a meta description and title tag, right, for every single page in your website. A unique title tag and a unique meta description, okay? Therefore, if that's the case, then no wonder people are like, oh, great, this SEO Yoast plugin has a box for the meta description and a box for the SEO title. Sweet, I'll do that, right? And my answer is, there are already boxes for the title tag and meta descriptions, okay? So, meaning, let's go back to the theory of it all. So what is SEO and how does it work, right? SEO is the process of affecting the visibility of a website or a web page in search engines, unpaid or organic search results, okay? So, simply put, search engines will find the keywords in your website text that users have queried for. Now, correct, Chris. The more people that link to my website, so creating a website wireframe in Illustrator, right? Let me answer it. Let me answer it. So for instance, the creating a website wireframe in Illustrator article tutorial that is a little outdated in terms of the grid structure, but it's still a tutorial that I show you guys how to do in Web 200. Well, if we go down to the bottom of the page, I have trackbacks turned on, where you can see that there used to be more. I was featured in a few blogs for Illustrator tutorials a while back, okay? So, but let's take a look at this one. So if I view the page source for this and look for SCCC, right? He is linked to this URL and has put these words in the anchor tag that then goes to this link. So because he's done that, or she, whoever has done this, right, I get an SEO hit, or I get, like, I don't know, a credit or whatever you want to say. Google recognizes my website for being relevant according to these keywords, Does that make sense, Chris? It's the link itself, but it's also the click, both. How Google calculates that, I don't know, right? Google is a mystery. All I know, rule number one about Google, don't fuck with the Google. Rule number two about Google, see rule number one, okay? So this right here is an example of organic, right, referral links, okay? However, had performed a keyword search and implemented those keywords in my title and meta description, so if we look for Illustrator wireframe, I used to be number one, right? But still, being number four, not so bad, okay? Because I have then put creating, website, wireframe, Illustrator. So if I typed in then Illustrator website wireframe, ooh, look at that, I've fallen and I can't get up. Create, let's see. Whoops. Create. Huh? Create, there I'm back, right there, because of the word create. And you can see that it's highlighting the word create there. It's highlighting wireframe, website, etc. Same thing, if we search for responsive website grid tutorial. Number four, because I have the word tutorial, responsive, website, grid. So those four words then have been found in the search engine result. Okay? So if then we look at, so therefore keywords and keyword phrases should be placed in the following places. Titles and meta descriptions are prioritized at the top. Then body copy, anchor text, alt values for images, domain page, and file URLs. So if we look at the Search Engine Optimization Starter Guide by Google, create unique and accurate page titles. So here, they are attempting to create unique and accurate page titles. But if you have to write out the entire page title every time, you think you're going to write it consistently? No. Correct. So instead, so I'll show you what I do instead. But secondly, make use of the description meta tag. Summaries can be defined for each page. Where have we seen this word summary before? I'm gonna wait. Where have we seen the word summary before that you've used in this class? I'm waiting on you, Trang. Where have we seen the word summary before? Should I get the Jeopardy Think music on? Where have we seen the word summary before?
The excerpt.
On the excerpts. So instead of using that plugin, let's use the excerpt field, right? Because excerpts are optional handcrafted summaries of your content that can be used in your theme, okay? So we already have a place to write a title tag, meaning here's the basis of the title tag, right there, the name of the page, right? So if I'm looking at my school website here, and we're talking about creating website wireframe Illustrator, that's right there in the title of the page. Oh, the title of the page. Maybe that can be used as the title tag. Ooh, title, title. They both have title in the title. Same thing for the responsive website grid tutorial. So here's what I actually do, Chris. I just search for this stuff on Google on every machine on campus and then go and do that. Was that your question? In other words, what you've noticed is you're getting an SEO kick because you have a high-ranking website linking to yours. You're welcome. You're welcome, Chris. You have just discovered one of the benefits of using your own domain name and leaving comments on my website to your assignments. You're welcome.
In this class, we already said that the name would be in the title.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's always, it all goes back to wrestling. Okay. So what was the rest of your question, Chris? No, that's what we're going to do today. Okay. So if we talk about logo design Seattle, right? And we look at the search engine result here, logo design, and then in the title, you don't see it because it's kind of cut off. But in the title tag, logo, design, Seattle. So a title tag then is comprised mainly of the title of the page, right? But what if we put responsive website grid tutorial, right? Where does this word tutorial come from? How do I get the word tutorial as part of the head, as part of the title? Category of the blog, right? Just like if I did a search for branding services Seattle, right? I'm not high ranked for branding services because I generally don't do that, right? You know who is the premier branding service or one of the premier branding experts in Seattle? You would think. So remember how I talked about David Lemley a long time ago? The guy that rebranded Starbucks and rebranded REI. Retail Voodoo. If there's a branding expert in Seattle, whose work is award-winning and, yeah, and a really slow website. It's David Lemley, who runs Retail Voodoo. It'll come up. But if we search for Branding Services Seattle, let's look where Retail Voodoo comes up. So it loaded. This guy right here, he's the shit. If there's one person that I would say is the branding service expert in Seattle, it's this guy. Finney Bischoff too, right? No Retail Voodoo, next page. Oh, I'm better than he is, so says Google. Why? Because if we look at this, for my services page, branding, under services, Seattle. Again, what I really do is I just search for stuff and click on it. That's my game. Branding, services, Seattle. So this is taken from the title of the individual page. This is taken from the gateway page and the location I've written in. So instead of recreating a title tag from scratch on every page, why not compile the pieces that you've already put into your website to compile that? Okay, so the title tag, a good formula to use for your regular pages is page, category, business name, city, state, right? So page name, parent gateway page name, business name, city, state. For postings, posting name, notice I don't have category in here. I do now, right? I since added categories in here, right? So again, single posting name, category, business name, city, state. Why are we putting this first instead of business name? Right, but why? Why wouldn't I put the business name first? Nobody is searching for me, right? So when I see those web TV, web.com TV commercials, we'll get you found. Nobody is searching for you. Nobody is looking for you, right? What they're looking for is useful content. Like, how do I convert a 960 grid website layout to responsive design? Now, this may be a mouthful. Has anybody seen that new Odwalla commercial? Where they're at the pool and this little kid is asking the guy about Odwalla and he starts going off on these tongue twisters and the kid's like, and their tagline is, it's a mouthful. Brilliant commercials, right? It's a mouthful, but this is human readable and machine readable. Meaning, convert a 960 grid website layout to responsive design. Well, that's human readable. I can read that. It's also machine readable. Google will index words like convert, 960 grid, website, layout, responsive, design. So if we said 960 responsive website grid tutorial, I'm still there. Responsive websites. See if I add convert. Well, the more keywords that we hit, the higher it climbs up, right? So trying to take into account what the keywords somebody might be using in a search, the variety of keywords, and trying to not necessarily keyword stuff, but make human readable, machine readable text that is littered with keywords. Does that make sense? And we go over that in Writing for the Web class. So how then, okay, so for the site's front page then, you would want to say tagline, business name, city, state. So where do we get our tagline from? General settings, tagline. So this is where my tagline could be the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, right? But that has no bearing in terms of keyword density of what I do and what people would be searching for. So logo design, print design, web design, and development might be a boring tagline, but it's a very search engine optimized tagline, which helps my rankings, right?
For the meta tag for the front page.
For the title tag for the front page. For my front page. So to answer your question, Chris, what we're going to do then is write a title tag that if we're on the front page, receive the site tagline. Else if we're on a page or a single posting, get the title. Else, for everything else, like the 404 pages, search pages, etc., get the tagline. If the post has a parent, retrieve the parent title. Retrieve the site name. Retrieve the location. So in a function like this, we piece these four pieces together to make a search engine optimized title. No,
For the title tag.
the meta description is different, right? So then we have the meta, take a look up here, Chris. Then we have the meta tag, name, description, content to convert your pixel perfect, etc. This is where we use the excerpt field to populate our meta description. Ready to start doing this?
Yes.
We can see. No. Yes, no, sort of. But don't confuse the two, right? On your home page, this is where what happened to all my tabs? What is, there we go. They have these things so screwed up. What was I saying? So on your home page, this right here, Chris, is the content from here, okay? But then the meta description pulls from here. These two are the exact same, right? But if we go to this page, posting, the text here, so the meta description is not necessarily the first paragraph of your text, okay? So notice that it's different here. So the paragraph is kind of I get kind of anecdotal here because that's the way I like to write. But then my excerpt is really strictly keyword human readable, machine readable, which then populates meta description as well as populates remember how we use the excerpt for our feed? it right. So this excerpt here for the blog feed doubles as the meta description for that posting, right? So that's the reusable chunk of information, okay? So let's start out with the title tag. This is section 1, right? So we're going to open up header.php. And currently, this is what we have for our title tag. Get the description, get your site's tagline, and get your site's name. We're going to replace it with a function called get Mike's title tag. But if we save this and push it to the website now, what is going on? Seriously. How many instances of Chrome are running, you guys?
With you, we just choose.
My Lord, do they have these things screwed up? Can I just find what I'm trying? Oh, there, I'm going to open up a new instance of Chrome. Now I have 4 instances of Chrome running.
All the more tabs for you to use.
Jeez. So if I load that now, it's still using the old one. Hash, refresh. Come on. WordPress Spring 1, 1701. Let me close some tabs here. Spring 1701. Is this on WordPress Spring 1701? History, clear browsing data, clear browsing data. Oh, look at that. I have that in the wrong spot. That's what's going on. That's interesting. I must have duplicated that somehow, some way. Themes, there we go. Header. There we go, okay. Is this working? Save. Delete that, edits. Delete, yes. Is this working? Great. See how I don't have a teacher to ask what's happening? And I just have to figure it out? Yeah, do y'all feel sorry for me? So we want to then, and by we I mean I, write a function get Mike's title tag. Yesterday was painful. I had a really simple error in my code that I couldn't figure out. And once it dawned on me what it was like, oh my God, I do that all the time. Watch yesterday's video. It was painful. No. You have to use get Mike's title tag. If there's any word that you're going to add in there, it's going to be badass. Get Mike's badass title tag. You can name it whatever you want. Right? I'm just doing this to, let you know that this is mine, right? So now if I do that, I should probably get an error, fatal error, right? Because that function does not exist, okay? So this is also exploring now how to use your own author written functions in your site. So now, I want to go to my functions file. Is it apostrophe after the S, or is it apostrophe then another S? This is the correct way, right? Okay. So I can then say function, name my function, right? And so now I can say echo pulling from my functions, oops, function file, right? So now my title should be pulling from my function file. So if we view page source, right? So here's how we want to formalize things. So page posting or tagline, business name or site name. Location. We also want to separate these with a separator with spaces. So now we go and view source. I should have page posting or tagline, parent page or category if one exists, business or site name, location. So let's start filling these in. Out of WAN. Mix and cooler. Okay. These two things instead of Mike's and Kula, where would I be pulling the site name from? Right? Log info name. So if I do that, so now WordPress Spring 27 Section 1 demo. Okay. Site title, yes. All right. So if I it's pulling from here, site title, right? Tagline is there. So now what we need to do is page, posting, or tagline. Previously, we had taken a look at WordPress conditional tags. So for the main page, which is the blog page, meaning for here, right, our blog feed, notice that the blog feed is using my tagline. Notice my home page is using my tagline. So therefore, we need to say use the tagline Remember, by using blog info description. Okay. So now, no matter where we are in the site, yep. So if I'm in the portfolio, just another WordPress class demo, parent page or category if one exists, Spring 17 demo, Seattle, Washington. So now what we need to start doing is, wherever we are in the sites, adjusting this part. If what are we going to put here? Close is front page. Right. So this is where then we want to write conditionals for wherever we are in the site. So we can use is front page or is home. Okay. How do we say or? Somebody besides Anthony. Bar? One bar? Two bars. One bar? Two bars. Two. So if is front page or is home, get the blog info description. Yeah, I know what's happening. It's because we're on a page and we haven't said anything about pages yet. So, what's wrong, Mike? So if we're on the front page or the blog page, it's going to say just another WordPress class demo site. So if I go to blog, just another WordPress class demo site. So now I want to fill in, and I don't want to close the demo. I want to fill in for if we're on a page, or if we're on a page and if it has a parent. Else if. What am I going to write here? What about for a posting? is single. What am I going to write? I can do it two different ways. I can either use, without an echo statement, a title, or, so if we do that, now it says logos. If we're on portfolio, it says portfolio. Notice we haven't edited this yet. Okay. So that, or I can say echo get the title. The title, that's where I am going to have to use the post object as an argument and say ID, right? Take a look at these. Because the same thing with the excerpt. So if we say a title or get the title. So the title, this is where the arguments are before, after, and true or false, right? So you can put tags in there. So if you leave it the title without arguments, it'll just return the title without anything. If you're going to use get the title, that's where it wants you to use an echo statement and use the post object. Okay? So now, if I use the post object like this, and this is where I got stuck yesterday. Well, it's working for me there. It may not need the argument. Let's see. Oh, look at that. It doesn't need the argument. All right. So it's not dependent on the post object. In your functions file, right, you're using echo statements or return statements quite often, because in your functions file, you're not using escapement, right? So in the functions file, because you're using a lot of echo statements, I have a tendency to use the get versions, but because if you have to use an echo statement, the just regular the versions won't work. Okay, so let's leave this there like that for right now. Huh? You can. It looks like it's not dependent on it. It'll be dependent on it here in a little while, right? So there I can get the title of a posting or a page. Now, I also want to put in an else statement for everything else, right? So let's do this. Let's start commenting. Front or blog page, page or posting. So I want to cover things like the 404, search, or any other randomness. And I'm just going to go here and then say blog info, description. so that I write out the tagline for everywhere else in the website. Okay. So now what I want to do is parent page or category if one exists. How did we do this last time? If the post object has what? How many of you at home are screaming it out loud right now? Text me the, some of you at home, text me the answer right now. So how do you write that? If post parent. Echo get the title for the post parent, right? Similar, exactly kind of the same that we did in our sidebar, right? If post parent list pages for post parent. Or get the ones for the post ID. So we're doing the same kind of thing here, right? If has a post parent, get the title for the post parent. Always get the title, and I'm going to go back to just kind of the long way here. Right? But here's what's going to happen. Let's see if you guys can figure, and this is where I got the error yesterday, and I was like, and I started, I resorted to copying and pasting my old function to try to fix it, you guys, until I saw what the error was. Yeah, I resorted to that, Chris. I had to wash my hands a few times afterwards. Okay. Why is it not writing the parent title in there? Here's why. This post object this variable is being referred to outside of this function. How do I solve that? You guys know what I'm talking about? What's that term? If I'm referring to a variable inside the function versus one outside the function, what's that theory? What? You're right. What's the theory? What kind of mouthwash do I use? Listerine. Correct. Variable scope. So therefore, we need to say we need to declare it as a global. So if we declare it as global, now it'll give us the parent page. So that is as far as I wrote in here. Global post, if his front page, I should have put his home, description, page, single, title. Again, here's where I use the. For everything else, blog info description, post parents, separated with spaces, get the title, separated with spaces, retrieve the site name, separated with spaces, write in the location. Why I didn't include the categories in my initial one was because I had articles in multiple categories. And it would write then the first category, not the second one. Right? So I decided that I just wouldn't do that. Then I decided, you know what? I should put my articles or my blog postings in just one category and one category alone, because when it came to then grabbing those blog postings, I wanted to put the category here: case studies, case studies, case studies, tutorials, right? So therefore, in order to do that, I needed to grab the category. And if I had multiple categories, I didn't want to grab multiple categories. So therefore, I made the decision to not put my postings in multiple categories. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Should be. So I then modified it probably like a month ago, maybe even a few weeks ago, that I said, I put the if has post parent inside the else if page conditional. And then I said else if category, get the category. Okay. Else if single, get the category. The get the category function is a little stupid. What does that mean? Correct. What is it doing effectively? If I have multiple categories, it's going to get the first one. It's going to get the first cat name, right? It wouldn't allow me just to do cat name. I had to pass, otherwise it would return array. We're going to skip this for right now. Array, you can go look at that and futz with it later, okay? But that's how you can do that. Okay? But for now, and you'll see that if you look at my functions file for my business site, I have to do that in a lot of my functions. Trang. Don't ask me why it's not working. Because I don't have a teacher, and I'm bitter. I'm going to stop answering things for people like that. Why is it not working? I don't know. Ask somebody else. I don't have a teacher. It's working? You can do whatever you want, Trang. This is yours to edit and modify as you want to. You can do, Trang, we're in America, and here in America, you're free to make choices like that. USA, USA, USA. Yeah. You can do, you can do it however you see fit. I might go have some freedom fries today, you guys. I know, I busted that out. Sorry. Okay. So this is basically how you can write that custom title tag then. Okay. So now for the meta descriptions. This is where then in my header, I want to use meta name description content excerpt goes here. Right? So now I should have an excerpt goes here. To get the excerpt, I could use, just like we did in index, right? I could use either get the excerpt or the excerpt. Let's take a look at both of them. So if I use the excerpt, here's what happens. It puts a P tag around it. Remember how we were talking about that before? I don't want a paragraph tag showing up. Because when you post something on Facebook, you don't want your excerpt wrapped in a paragraph tag. Okay? So again, if we go and look at the excerpt, which I probably totally spelled that wrong, but whatever, the excerpt versus get the excerpt. The excerpt doesn't allow you to place any arguments through it. The excerpt does. As well, the excerpt doesn't use P tags. Would you just let me get to things, Chris? I know. Stop asking questions that I am going to answer in 5 minutes. I know you're a smarty pants, Chris. We'll get to that in a few minutes, Chris. Now he's totally ignoring me. What? We'll get to it. Quit blowing my game, man. So if I say echo gets the excerpt, did you not notice that I went to a posting on purpose? You didn't, because you're not paying attention. Okay, so now if I view this, I don't have the p tags. Now to answer Chris's questions. Correct. If we go to then a page, we go to edit this, there's no excerpt field by default. Why? What? The answer is because sometimes WordPress is stupid. So what we need to do then is just like in our functions file, we added theme support for post thumbnails. In this case, what we need to do is add post type support. So add post type support, then what we can do is say what post type, right? In other words, page, post, or attachment, or trang, here, right? Or what else? What were the three ones that I just said? Page, posting, or attachments are all post types, right? In other words, if I go to new, I can add a new page, media, post, media, page, or user. Those are our post types, okay? If we make a custom post type, then we can also add support for it. Right? Then we can add a feature. So what we are trying to do is add the feature of excerpts for pages. So how you write the arguments is post type feature. Now that we've done that, and I refresh this page, then I should see excerpt up here in the screen options.
Yes.
Chris, I know I have a problem. I do. I do know this. I know I do. Well, one day you and Trang and Dan will stop giggling with each other during my lectures. Right? What? So now you have a title tag and excerpts.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.